This week it's all about new things, new paths, new attitudes, new ways of eating.
I can run, running with my radio.
During one of my walks, I had some thoughts about my upbringing and how that's affected the choices that I've made with my eating as an adult. After talking to a friend the other day, I've been thinking a lot about some of the patterns of eating that I have adopted in my life and possibly some of the reasonings behind those patterns. One thing that really stood out to me was, I guess, coming from a really big family, 4 kids in the family, so we always had a really big cook up when it came to dinner time especially. And then as I got older, I became the person who would do the big cook up. And I started to realize that my portion sizes were for a family of 6, 4 kids and 2 adults. And then as I grew up and left home and started cooking in my own place, the portion sizes for me, I don't think they really stopped being that large. And it was a real retraining of, okay, you're only cooking for 2 people now, so it's actually quite different. Another conversation I had with another friend was about the amount of food that we have and how much food we actually need for our bodies to function and to grow and develop. And it was significantly less than I expected, so it was a real surprise. Then the question remains for me, why? Why do I eat so much more than I need, than my body needs? It's not just about the foods that I eat that are not great for me, which I know about, but why do I overeat? I've had this question before, I've spoken about it, but it really does come down to that emotional connection, the emotional attachment to food, and my need to satisfy something that I believe, or maybe I don't even know that I'm trying to satisfy those emotional needs. And if I believe my body is valuable and it's a gift to me, then it makes sense to choose the right foods, the right amounts of foods that are going to help my body to be the healthiest that it can be. In the theme of new, I read an article and it talked about some hints and tips that could really change the way that I eat. So come with me to my kitchen and see what I did. A suggestion that the article made was to use smaller plates. So this is the dinner size, normal average dinner size plate that I used to use, and I've decided to replace it with this plate, a smaller plate. As you can see, they're quite different. And the reason I'm choosing to do that is because with a big dinner plate, there's a lot more to cover, a lot more surface to fill, and often when I'm eating or filling my plate, I feel like if I don't put enough on, I'm actually going to miss out or feel hungry. Just visually looking at this plate, I feel like there's a lot more that I need to cover. Whereas with a smaller plate, I can fill it up even as much as I can, but it's still not going to be the same amount as this plate. Just mentally for me, seeing my plate full and then me finishing the entire plate will really help me with feeling satisfied with that meal. Another tip that the article gives is using your plate as your portion guide. So they talk about dividing your plate up and looking at the different sections and what should be in each of the sections. So they talk about a quarter being protein, a quarter being complex carbohydrates, and then the rest of it being vegetables, salad, those sorts of foods, with a tiny bit of high fat as well. So visually you can actually see what it is that you have on your plate and trying to make your meals to those portions. The article also talks about our brain needing about 20 minutes to register that we're full. So I am using my timer every day when I'm having my meals so that I can actually take my time, slow my pace, and enjoy my meal and give my brain a chance to know that I'm full. Another suggestion was to use a glass of water before you eat your meal so that it satisfies you and fills your tummy a little bit more, but also it can help for you to understand whether you're thirsty or you're hungry and hit that quota of having enough water so that you're hydrated throughout the day. One thing that I'm adding to this whole mix is actually my own schedule. Planning meals for me is a really big deal. What I've been doing is trying to sort out some of the things that I would like for that week and then jotting it down on my meals board so that I'm prepared and ready and I can make good decisions about the types of foods that I'm going to choose for that week. Anyone who knows me well knows that this is a brave new frontier that I'm heading into. Things with cooking and meal preparation and portion sizes. So yeah, I've taken some of these hints and tips because I want to grow in this area and I want to be able to develop and stretch my repertoire and my understanding of food. We are well and truly into winter and I haven't given up on my exercise. In fact, I'm loving it. I think I'm actually at the point where I look forward to jogging. Crazy! Nothing like a challenge of mud and potential injury. As adventurous as I am, I don't think this is a good idea with the pram. On second thoughts, I heard the birds cheering me on, so we made it past the mud. Woohoo, everyone's fine. Just a little bit of mud on the shoes. Can you believe I'm already a quarter of the way through? Next week I'll be looking at some of my highlights and results, my progress so far, so look forward to seeing you then. Mwah.